Come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. Never have to cut you out like right now. You see, I don't have to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was never you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they feel strange. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip. Yeah, you
Welcome to a special edition of Seahawks Man to Man, a YouTube exclusive. Make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Seahawks Man to Man is the name of the channel. You're already here, so just do it while you're here. Make sure you follow us on Instagram as well. Seahawks Man to Man is the name of the handle, and we're also on TikTok. Seahawks Man to Man is the name of the handle there as well. My name is Michael-Shawn Dugar. You guys can follow me on whatever Elon Musk is calling that app these days. My @name has not changed. It's at the bottom of the screen as well, at Mike Dugar, MikeDugar. Chris, go ahead and talk to him.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Christopher Kid. You can follow me on Twitter at CKIDD206, and that's CKid206. And my goodness, Mike, we are a month into the NFL season. That's crazy. Time is flying. And we have another week of, yes, you guessed it, standout plays. And then Mike teased me because I'm going back-to-back weeks with Mr. Knight, Tyrice Knight. He stood out to me on the film, so I have to give a little love. There was about 4 plays, but I didn't want to do all 4 because there was so much negative within that specific play that, yeah, he hustled and did this and that. I don't want to shine too much light. I don't even know if the players would be happy about their performance in a loss. I remember Geno Smith talking, I think it was yesterday or earlier today, when he said, yeah, there's no moral victories, really. You know, we lost the football game. Kind of forgot that we actually had played that game. We moved on, but they don't want to look back at that game. You know, it's not as bad as what happened with the Ravens last season, but it's still a loss, and they have to move on from it. But nonetheless, Mike, should I just go ahead and get rolling with some plays that you want to take over and start yours first?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So as I mentioned, I will be showing some love to the young Tyrice Knight. And again, he's definitely been making a lot of positive plays. I know, as I mentioned before, Mike McDonald has been pretty tough on him, and that's fair. There's things that he needs to improve on, especially dropping in the coverage. He's still making great plays in the backfield, tackles for loss, tackles at the line of scrimmage, splash plays, as they're also known as, which is great, but you want to see more consistency. And the first one that I want to talk about is him filling the gap and getting the tackle for, I want to say they gained maybe 4 yards on this play. It's the ball is at the Detroit 19. They come out in 12 personnel, so that's going to be 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and 1 running back. As you see in the backfield, that's David Montgomery. The Seahawks come out in their base defense. On the edges, you have Derek Hall on the left-hand side. On the bottom right, you have Tyus Bowser, and then Draymond Jones is next to Tyus, number 56. I know you can't see his number right now, but once the play rolls, you'll get a grasp of everything going on. Draymond Jones is in there, Jonathan Hankins as well at number 97, and then I believe over the center, that is Jay Reed. So, linebackers, you got Tyrice Knight, Terrell Dotson, and then secondary, Spoon outside on the hash. Can't see him on the screen. And then Julian Love and Rayshon Jenkins at the top of your screen there. 2 high safety look. And I want you just to watch how the play develops. Reek is at the bottom of your screen, but you can't see it. He's off to the side. But nonetheless, I'm just going to go ahead and roll it. And they send the guy in motion. And watch how the lane just gets filled. And again, it's all about patience and defending the run, because if you shoot the gap too soon, you could obviously leave that hole wide open. If you're there early, it could result in you missing out completely. But if I pause it, let me back up a little bit. As you can see, he is gauging where David Montgomery is trying to hit it, and he doesn't panic. Obviously, it was supposed to be a double team, but he's able to wave off the tackle coming towards him, and he has a one-on-one shot with David Montgomery. And as you guys have saw in the game, David Montgomery is he's not easy to bring down. The dude is a truckload, and he is very physical. He loves contact, but Tyrice is able to get there. Great form, tackle wraps up, and then he gets a little help from everybody else. So as you can see from this angle here, it's all set up. Push comes out, and then he rolls in, ducks under a little bit, and makes a huge tackle. It's only a 4-yard gain, and he's just showing quite a bit of his ability to read and diagnose run plays. Obviously, he needs to get better in certain scenarios that I talked about in pass coverage, but from this standpoint, he has done a really good job of filling these lanes, especially when it's clear for him. There's a clear opportunity for him to go and make a play. He does that, and he's been pretty effective so far through the last month of the season, and that's pretty impressive. And then the second one, also another run here. This time, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, the Seahawks are going to be in nickel because this one is a 11 personnel, something that you guys should know and be familiar with because the Seahawks run a lot of 11 personnel. That's going to be 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and a running back. So they actually remove an outside linebacker and they bring on Trey Brown because they're trying to match up with the receivers on the field, obviously. So another run here, but I want you guys to just watch. I know it's tough to see here, but he is in the middle of the field. Tyrice is. He's at the middle of the field. He's communicating with Tyrell Dodson as Jared Goff is going to send a player in motion to go and try to crack number 2, Rayshawn Jenkins. That's one of the, I'm not going to lie. When I played football in high school, I hated having to go crack a safety and or a linebacker. Not fun. Anyway, it's not about me. It's about Tyrice Knight and this play he makes. So they send the guy in motion. Jared does, and boom. Mike talked about violence. Before the season started, Mike was just excited to see violence. And on this play, Tyrice Knight brings the violence. The guard is coming up to block him to clear space for Jahmyr Gibbs to find a hole. And Tyrice Knight does a good job of going head to head and creating such violence that he's able to knock the guard back a little bit. Tyrese actually falls back a little bit as well, but he's able to maintain his ground and he's able to wrap up Jahmyr Gibbs. So I'm going to roll it again, and you can see bam, and then come here. I mean, that's textbook. That's stuff that you love to see from your linebacker, getting his nose in there, taking on the guard, and then finishing strong with a tackle. And that was only another 4-yard gain, 3 or 4 yards. So Tyrese is definitely, he has a nose for getting in there. Bam, gets off of it and is able to make the tackle for a small gain. And again, you can see Jamison Williamson coming over and laying a crack block on Rayshawn Jenkins, who he takes it head on pretty strong. You can see Rayshawn number 2 coming up close to the line of scrimmage. Bang, bang. Just a lot of violence, as Mike loves to say. A lot of violence at the line of scrimmage. But I do want to give a nod to Tyrice Knight for taking on the guard, finishing strong, and bringing down Jahmyr Gibbs for only a manageable gain there on the ground. So a lot of good stuff that he's putting on tape. He's only going to get better. Still needs to find consistency and coverage, but I think that's just going to be something he improves on as the season goes along. So those are my standout plays from week 4 as the Seahawks took a tough loss to the Detroit Lions on the road there.
Yeah, pull up Spoon 1 for me. I'm going with Devon Witherspoon this week in my standout plays. While Chris is pulling that up, that second Tyrese play is a really good example of why Jamal Adams playing linebacker full-time was always a bad idea, because like that type of carnage, you got to have a certain build to keep doing that. You can't do that at 212 pounds or whatever. You got to be able to take on guards. Watch the Dallas Cowboys games if you guys are curious on what it looks like when you have little dudes trying to fit the run. I'm going with Spoon this week. You know, I can just play this one while I'm talking. This is the first play of the game. But part of the reason I'm going with Spoon is like I feel, he's just been a really good player this year, last year. He's always been consistently a good player since he showed up. He's playing really well this year. And I feel like after the game, between the missed tackle on the David Montgomery check down and the fact that he was the guy in the camera when Jamison Williams scored the 70-yarder, it can feel, I know how it can feel for you guys watching the broadcast, that Spoon is out here getting cooked, you know, or that he just had a bad game. Spoon actually played really well, just as he has been all year. And this is an example. I have a few examples here of some of the good stuff he's doing. So this is the first play of the game for the Seahawks defense. The personnel is kind of irrelevant for the purposes of this. But just watch Spoon on this play action here. He's basically in conflict a little bit, right? So look at here. Spoon's got this over route from whoever that is. Doesn't matter for the purposes of this. He's got that over route. And then he's also got Laporta in his sight too, you know, and there's no pass rush here. So the ball's coming. You know, Jared's outside of the pocket, and this is tough. And look how Spoon handles this. Just vision on the check down, vision on Goff while feeling out the overall, all while backpedaling towards the sideline. He basically eliminates the throw here. Like you could see at this point here, if Goff wants to try that, like he could maybe get that over Spoon, but that's a dangerous play. So instead, because of how Spoon plays it, basically midpoints the two options here, plays it really well, and then rallies to stop it for what is just a gain of 1 yard. Like this is the type of stuff that's it's not technically a splash play. It's just a tackle for a 1 yard gain. But this is tough. He cheats down too much on the check down, and he gets it thrown over his head. He backpedals too much to take away the over route, which I believe is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Then he's leaving the flat too wide open, and he can't rally to get there for a minimal gain. Like, this is just a simple. It looks simple in the game, and honestly, it looks simple on film too. But like it's one of those plays that's really tough, particularly a guy at Spoon size. He's outweighed by Sam Laporta by quite a bit, but comes down, boom, makes a tackle in space, does a great job. This is an example of some of the stuff he's done. On this same drive, you give me Spoon 2 from me, Chris. Like on this is I think the next play that Detroit runs is as a run play. This is 3rd and 6 on that same drive. So we're still in the opening drive. This play ends with a sack. As you can see, Jared Goff showing that every time he spins is not a good thing. He's back there running for his life, gets tackled by Jay Reed, who does the Mike B tribute, which I loved here. But this is in the Spoon highlight section for me, as you guys can see. Spoon is aligned above Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's in the slot there. Based on this alignment and what happens after the snap, looks like the Seahawks are just like in a little cover one with Tyrell Dotson as the whole player in the middle of the field to take away some crossers and stuff like that. So Spoon's basically manned up. And look at Spoon here. Look at Goff. You can kind of see that Goff wants to hit Amon-Ra for what would be like a little quick out for a first down. Great idea. He's their best offensive weapon. It's a quick, easy play, and they're almost setting it up where Trey Brown's player could damn near rub Spoon, like kind of pick him off a little bit or create a natural rub where Spoon has to go underneath it and it leaves Amon-Ra open. But just watch the acceleration from Spoon here, recognizing that, kind of taking this away so Jared has to hold on to it. And it's gone. Like, if Goff makes that, Chris, that's house call. He throws that to inside, and Spoon starts the game with a pick 6. And you see he has to hold up. He respects Spoon. Goff is also probably thinking, damn, I done thrown a pick 6 against these guys the last 2 seasons. Let me try my best not to do that here. And he does that again and holds it. And even Spoon, if it was out and up, I don't think that's what it is. I think this is just a speed out. But even if it was out and up, he covers that too. Does a really great job here. And he doesn't obviously get credit for this. Jay Reed, Miles Adams makes a good effort. Jay Reed does a good cleanup there to get the sack. But it's also another instance of like the coverage and the rush working well together. Spoon takes away that first read. And with a guy like Goff, you take away his first read, good things tend to happen. He tries to actually get to his third read here, which is the tight end manned up against Kobe Bryant at the bottom of the screen, but doesn't like that either. Probably actually should have thrown that, but doesn't like that. Ends up in a sack. Chris, can you give me Spoon 3 as well? I'll go with that. This play is excellent. I actually tweeted this one. I don't even really need to explain much, but you just watch it. Watch Spoon at the bottom of the screen here. Spoon stops this for like a 3-yard gain, dog. Flexes on him a little bit. Like he had a really good game. It sucks that he's on the wrong end of basically like the 2 biggest highlight plays of the night outside of the trick play to Goff. But this was one of those where you can get dangerous in the film watching game, pausing stuff and being like, this should have happened. Look at this screenshot where things are moving a lot faster. This is not one of those instances. You can just pause it, dog. Chris, look at this. Look how much space. I think Amon-Ra has the ball right here. Look how much space is open at the time of the catch. And look where Spoon is. This looks like you just raised your hands.
Touchdown.
This damn near could be a tug. Instead, it's only 3 yards, 2 or 3 yards, whatever it was. Spoon, give me that. Shed block. Bam, come here. And then D Hall in there for the really violent cleanup. Like you said, I love the violence. But this is another one of those that it's probably not on a highlight reel because it's still a 3-yard gain, so it's not a huge TFL. And from the broadcast angle, you can't really see the big play he's eliminating. You can see it on the all 22 because this is right where Amon-Ra catches it, dog. That is so much space. That is a wide ass gap. between the tackle and I think that's Jameson Williams trying to block Spoon. That is good work, man, in open space by Mr. Witherspoon there. Like he played, and he's been doing this all year. We could have done this every week if we really wanted to, but this week I wanted to. I was honestly going to do something bad this week, like a bad standout play, but I want to do something positive. So here's my last Spoon play before we get out of here to illustrate kind of what he's been doing and what he's going to need to continue to do to make sure this defense stays locked down. Because this is also I want to make this point while I'm also bringing up Spoon is the Seahawks trio of corners is still not giving up any yards. You notice Spoon didn't give up many catches. Reek only gave up one. You know, I think Trey Brown for the year has only given up 69 yards, in 4 games. Like Spoon's only given up 100 yards in 4 games, and 40 of those are because of the David Montgomery catch and run. He's credited for all of the yards after that as well, which is kind of his fault, but also not his fault. So from a pure coverage standpoint, Seattle's corners are playing out of their mind still. And if they continue to do that, I think they'll be fine as the schedule toughens or stiffens, whatever word I want to use there. When they play Josh Allen, when they play Kyle Shanahan, when they play Matt Stafford, they're going to need to be locking up. And even this play, Spoon is credited for, he's at the bottom of the screen there against Amon-Ra. He's credited for allowing a 17-yard catch here, which he does, right? This is a 17-yard completion. But two things here. One, Amon-Ra clearly pushes off on him, which is fine, veteran push off. But that is why you guys can see Spoon take that little dip there, right there. Like Spoon, it just loses footing. Clearly, number 14 gives him a little veteran shove. Hey, it's okay. DK does it all the time. Tyler does it. It's a veteran receiver thing. I'm not even complaining about that. But I'm showing that to show Spoon is there. The other issue with this play, though, or not the other issue, the other thing that stands out is, Chris, do you notice how much space there is underneath? Like, there is no one. Look at where Goff is and look where Amon-Ra is about to break to. There's nothing there to make this throw any more challenging, but there should be. To your point about Tyrice Knight and the coverage stuff for the linebackers, this is Drake Thomas, but it's relevant all the same. This should be a more difficult throw, but when they play action, look how far up Drake Thomas, who's number 42 right there on the hash, closest to the bottom of the screen. Look at what him and the safety, who I believe is Julian Love, look how far they come up. For Julian, it's not that bad because he ends up getting my man in the flat, so he's fine. If Goff checks it there, he can rally and make the tackle. Drake Thomas, look at this. You can see he's like, oh, damn. Turn and haul ass to get to my landmark. And by then, yeah, he's like, oh, shoot. It's a little late. Yeah, he's cooked. Yeah, he's probably not supposed to be chasing that through route. That through route is just supposed to clear out so Amon-Ra can get into that dig window, which he does. But that dig window should be tighter if the underneath coverage is there. So even in the instance where Spoon gives up the 17, it's not even like a Spoon is doing a bad thing here. Got pushed off, and his teammate wasn't there to make the throw tougher. Like two things working against him there that goes down as 17-yard completion that Devon Witherspoon gave up. And you can see him going to the ref too at the end of the video, being like, "Yo, you see him push me?" But this is actually decent coverage by him prior to the push. And the issue really here, when I watched this, I was like, "That's not a Spoon problem. That's an underneath." Yeah, it's underneath coverage problem. Whether it's supposed to be the linebacker in this case, but in some coverages, that's the safety supposed to be there or the nickel. In this case, I think they're in base. Yeah, they're in base. So, yeah, this is the type of stuff that you can't have, because teams are going to see this on film and exploit it. Now, for what it's worth, I'm pretty sure Drake Thomas got pulled from the game after this play, and you can see why. Tyrice Knight comes in on the very next snap. It's because, hey, man, we need you to make that throw a little tougher, so even if Spoon does get pushed, maybe he has to put it higher, Spoon can recover, or it's incomplete, or maybe you pick it. Goff arm ain't super strong. So, but this is a Spoon standout play segment, because trust us when we say this, or at least trust me, but I know Chris agrees. Spoon's playing well. The corners in general are playing well. And if they continue to do that, the Seahawks are going to be fine defensively. I do think they have some concerns, as we talked about in our One Big Thing segment from our last show, that's available on YouTube and via all audio platforms. One of the things we talked about was the underneath stuff. Mike McDonald talked about it. We talked about it. As long as you're leaving that little spot open there, I mean, look at this. Look at right here. Chris, you can make that throw. I seen you make that throw.
Come on now. Don't play zone
see-
against me. No.
I seen you do. I mean, that's just a lot of space, and that is what is this little concept right here is what is could be troublesome for against the Kyle Shanahan, against Buffalo, against Matt Stafford. I don't know why I keep saying Kyle Shanahan. Brock Purdy. I'm sorry, the
Kirk
quarterback.
Cousins, baby.
Kirk Cousins will hit this joint all day and twice on Sunday. I'm not a big Kirk Cousins guy. He can hit this throw every day. He's amazing at this. You can't give these up. And that's probably why Mike McDonald, unprompted on Tuesday, brought up the second level of routes and them covering them. Because this is that. This is a perfect example of what I'm sure he's referring to. So it's actually a good job by Spoon doing his part, gets pushed off, and then his guy is just not there. So I think, kind of in closing, trust us, guys. Spoon's playing fine. He's not having an off year, not having a bad year. He doesn't have any interceptions. I don't even think he has that many PBUs, maybe one. Because as you can see, he's not getting targeted a bunch. And if he does, it's little stuff in the flat. But he's making those plays. The David Montgomery play was the outlier. Him getting truck stick like that was the outlier. That's the exception, not the rule, so to speak. He's playing good ball, and they all are. Again, all the corners are. Safeties are playing fine too. J. Love and Jenkins. So they all should play this Sunday against the Giants. If they come out of that clean, they all should play against the Niners on Thursday. Like, they're in a really good spot. I think their secondary is playing fine. I think the linebackers got to catch up a little bit. Glad you mentioned Tyrice Knight in that regard. Getting Boye back this week, getting Chenna back this week, getting Leonard back this week. I think that's going to make a world of a difference for making those throws a little tighter. But either way, that second level's got to be protected better. But the gist of what I'm saying today is lay off Spoon, man. Spoon balling, doing his thing. Those are some tough plays I just showed you. I think, Chris, we've seen in the past that screenplay I showed to Amon-Ra, that's been a touchdown against this defense in the past. We've seen it. We've synced it to it, several times. I don't need to call out which specific guys have given it up. You guys know. Seahawks haven't been able to cover screen since KJ left, but they have the guys to make those plays. So Spoon's playing well. Keep that in mind. He's going to keep playing well. You know what, Chris? I might even hashtag predict a big game from him this week.
Yeah, I did that on radio today. I predicted Tyrese Knight having a big game. I think this is an opportunity after seeing the film, learning from the mistakes. You can go out against a Daniel Jones offense without Malik Neighbors and cause havoc. Be able to sniff out runs and then get enough depth when you're dropping into your hook zones and help out your DBs and bat a pass in the air, maybe even get an interception. Last week, I talked about him being a hair late and a quarterback making a really great throw because he is in perfect position to make a play. He turns his head and the ball just whizzes by him. He's going up against Daniel Jones. I don't know if Daniel Jones is capable of making that type of throw where it's across the field, throwing it right by his ear, defender's ear. That's a tough throw. Probably 6 quarterbacks can make that throw. And that's something that Tyrese Knight saw on film. He's going to get better from, but now he has an opportunity to go ahead. Same route's probably going to happen in that game. Okay. Filling it out as it develops. Turn your head. Oh, there's the ball. Snag it. Interception. Go celebrate. And then get back on the field and make more defensive plays. So I would dare say if you're going to go with Reek being someone that's a star on Sunday, and say Tyrese Knight. Star on Sunday. Yeah. There you go.
Like last week, I think when you did talk about that play from the Dolphins game, I mentioned that, like, to piggyback on that, the goal should be to make the quarterback have to make a perfect throw. Sometimes they will, and they completely didn't listen this week. Goff had to make no perfect throws for real. Very few tight windows, very few tough. He had one tight window throw all game, and it was a hitch to Jamison Williams off the spin move. That was it. That was like his second pass. Otherwise, he didn't even have to be perfect. He just had to just make simple throws. I think the goal this week and every week is to get back to what they've been doing earlier, is make the quarterbacks have to make perfect throws, because that's when mistakes happen. Every throw can't be perfect. So whether you're Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, everybody makes bad throws at some point because the windows are tight. So Spoon's been doing a good job of that. Trey's been doing a good job of that. Reek, we really could have done a highlight segment of all the corners from every week, pretty much. They've been killing it. So I think that continues this week. Like you said, no Malik Neighbors. He's in the concussion protocol. So if all you got to do is guard Darius Slayton and Wendell Robinson, man, with respect to those guys, this should be the day that the Seahawks – I should be writing about the Seahawks defense, about the corners in the secondary on Sunday. If I'm not, something went wrong. I predicted I will. But if I'm not, then something went wrong because they should really get busy against this Giants offense on Sunday.
Well, there you have it. Another week of standout plays. We appreciate all the love and support. We will come back to you after the Seahawks and Giants game for a little post-game action. So get your Twitter questions ready and whatever else you got. We'll be prepared as well. Thanks again for all the love and support. Mike, is there anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Have a good weekend, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Again, make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, Seahawks Man to Man, on TikTok, Seahawks Man to Man. And follow us both on the tweet machine, as Chris likes to call it, or whatever Elon Musk is calling that app these days. We'll see you later. Peace.